20 minutes ago, a murder was committed on Sunset Boulevard, at one of those great big mansions between Hollywood and the beach. You're going to hear a lot about it because an old-time movie star is involved, one of the biggest. The victim's body is still floating in the swimming pool. Nobody important, really. Just a movie writer with a couple of B pictures to his credit. A poor dope. He always wanted a swimming pool. Well, they got the pool, only the price turned out to be a little high. Let's go back about 6 months and find the day when it all started. Things had been pretty tough. I hadn't sold a story in months, but I knew a big shot over at Paramount who always seemed to like me. And the time had come to take advantage of it. He was a smart producer, with a set of ulcers to prove it.
All right, Gillis, you got 5 minutes. What's your story about?
Well, it's about a ball player, Mr. Sheldrake.
Oh?
The poor kid was once mixed up in a holdup, but he's trying to go straight. I submitted it a while back, an outline. I imagine your story department's got a report on it.
Baseball story, huh?
Yeah, with a real good gimmick at the end.
You got a title for it?
Bases loaded. And you got exactly the man for it here, right on the lot. Alan Ladd. Be a great change of pace for him.
Come in.
Hello, Mr. Sheldrake.
Hello?
On that Bases Loaded, I have a 2-page synopsis. You might want to take a look at it.
Oh, thank you.
Personally, though, I wouldn't bother.
Oh, what's wrong with it?
It's from hunger.
I'm sure you'll be very glad to meet Mr. Gillis. He wrote it. This is Miss Schaefer from our rigging department.
And right now, I wish I could crawl in a hole and pull it in after me.
If I could be of any help, Miss Schaefer.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gillis. I just didn't think it was any good.
Well, just what kind of material do you recommend? James Joyce, Dostoevsky?
Perhaps the reason I hated Bases Loaded is that I knew your name. I always heard that you had some talent.
That was last year. This year I'm trying to pay the rent.
All right, that'll be all, Miss Schaefer. Thank you very much.
Goodbye, Mr. Gillis.
Look, I don't want you to think this was going to win an Academy Award, but I'm over a barrel here, Mr. Sheldrake. I need a job.
I haven't got a thing.
Any kind of assignment. Additional dialogue, rewrites.
There's nothing, honest.
Mr. Sheldrake, well, could you let me have $300? It's for my car. They're after my car. I mean yourself, as a personal loan.
Could I? Gillis, last year somebody talked me into buying a ranch in the valley. So I borrowed the money from the bank to pay for the ranch. This year I had to mortgage the ranch so I could keep up my life insurance, so I could borrow on the life insurance just to pay for the bank. Then there's this little matter called income tax. And
well, that was that. I drove out of the parking lot. No place in particular. Just driving and thinking things out. The time had come to wrap up the whole Hollywood deal and somehow get back to Ohio. I stopped for a traffic light. Behind me, in the rearview mirror, I saw a very familiar car. 2 gentlemen from the Friendly Finance Company. I jumped the light and stepped on the gas. I was on Sunset Boulevard now, heading toward the beach. Suddenly, a tire blew out. It wasn't time to think twice. I turned off the road and into a private driveway. I ducked behind some fancy shrubbery and waited. I was safe. The house was a great big white elephant of a place. The kind crazy movie people built in the crazy 20s. A neglected house gets an unhappy look, and this one had it in spades. Dismal and damp looking, all grown over with some sort of devouring ivy. I started wondering how anyone could ever...
You there! Why are you so late?
Oh, I beg your pardon, but I just blew out my car, a tire. I just left it in the driveway. I thought maybe that I could,
Go inside.
Have him come up, Max.
Wipe your feet. Go on. You are not properly dressed for the occasion.
What occasion?
Oh, go up the stairs.
Now, you suppose... Listen to me for a minute. You know,
Madame is waiting.
Well, for me? Okay.
If you need help, call me.
So I went up the staircase. It led to a huge bedroom. On a table, covered with a Spanish shawl, was a monkey. A dead monkey. I guess I just stood there, staring.
You should have been here hours ago. I put him there because he always liked to be by the fire. Well, I've made up my mind that he is to be buried in the garden. Any city laws against that?
I wouldn't know.
I don't care anyway. I want the coffin to be white. I want it to be specially lined with satin. White or maybe deep pink.
Look.
Warn you, don't quote me a fancy because I'm rich.
Lady, I mean, you've got this wrong. You got the wrong man. I had some trouble with my car. Well, I thought this place was empty.
It is not. Get out.
I'm sorry. Hey. Excuse me. Haven't I seen you here before?
Get out!
Norma Desmond. You used to be big in pictures. You used to be big.
I am big. It's the pictures that got small.
I knew there was something that was wrong with them.
They're dead. They're finished. There was a time when they had the eyes of the whole wide world, but that wasn't good enough. Oh no, they had to have the ears of the world too. So they opened their big mouths and out came talk, talk, talk.
Yeah, well, that's where the popcorn business comes in. You buy yourself a bag and plug your ears.
Look at them in front of their offices, the masterminds. They took the idols and they smashed them. The Fairbankses, the Gilberts, the Valentinos. And who have they got now? The nobodies.
Oh, don't blame me. I'm not a producer, just a writer.
You are. Writing words, more words. Well, you've made a rope of words and strangled this business.
Shh. I'll wake up that monkey.
Get out! Max!
Okay, I'm going.
Just a minute. You. A writer, you said.
Well?
Are you or aren't you?
Oh, sure. The last story I sold was about Okies in the Dust Bowl. But you'd never know because by the time it reached the screen, the whole thing played out on a torpedo.
I happen to have written a script myself. It's the story of Salome. I think I'll have DeMille direct it.
And you'll play Salome?
Who else?
Only asking. I didn't know you were planning a comeback.
Oh, I hate that word. It's a return. A return to the millions of people who have never forgiven me for deserting the screen.
Fair enough.
Salome. What a woman. What a part. The princess in love with a holy man. He rejects her, so she demands his head on a golden tray, kissing his cold, dead lips.
They'll love it in Pomona.
They'll love it every place. Read it. Read my manuscript. Just before she has him killed.
Now look, never let another writer read your material, Miss Desmond. He may steal it.
I'm not afraid. Max!
Yes, madame.
The young man is staying for a while. Get some champagne.
So I started to read. Sometimes it's interesting just to see how bad writing can be. This promised to go the limit. She sat in front of me, coiled up like a watch spring, defying me not to like what I read, or maybe begging me in her own proud way to like it. It meant so much to her. It was sure a cozy setup, with that bundle of raw nerves and Max and the dead monkey. Later on, just for comedy relief, the real guy arrived with a little coffin. It was all done with great dignity. He must have been some very important chimp. It got to be evening. I was feeling a little sick at my stomach, what with the champagne and that tripe I'd been reading. By then, however, I'd started making up a little plot of my own.
Well, Well, you're not going to stop reading.
Oh, this is fascinating.
Of course it is.
All it needs is maybe a little more dialogue.
For I can say anything I want with my eyes.
Well, it certainly could use a little more editing.
I will not have it butchered.
Well, of course not. Just a touch here and there. You can find somebody.
Who? I'd have to have somebody I could trust. When were you born? I mean, what sign of the zodiac?
I don't know.
What month? What date?
December 21st.
Sagittarius. I like Sagittarians. You can trust them.
Thank you.
I want you to do this work.
Me? Oh, no, I mean, I'm busy. I've got a job.
I don't care.
And I'm pretty expensive. I get $500 a week.
Well, I wouldn't worry about the money. I'll make it worth your while.
Well, maybe I'd better take it home and look it over there.
Oh, no. I won't let it get out of my house. You'll have to work here.
Well, it's getting kind of late.
Are you married, Mr.?
The name is Gillis. Single.
Where do you live?
Hollywood. Alto Nido Apartments.
There's something wrong with your car, you said.
There sure is.
Well, why shouldn't you stay here?
Oh, look. I'll come back tomorrow.
Nonsense. There is room over the garage. Max will take you there. Max! Max, come here.
I felt kind of pleased with the whole way I'd handled the situation. Sure, I'd work on her script. Meanwhile, my car would be safe and the money prospects looked very good.
This garage room has not been used for a long time.
I guess it's okay for one night. Say, she's quite a character, isn't she?
She was the greatest of them all. You wouldn't know. You're too young. In 1 week, she received 17,000 fan letters.
Well, I sure turned into an interesting driveway.
You did, sir. Good night, Mr. Gillis.
I pegged him as slightly cuckoo, too. Stroke, maybe. Come to think of it, the whole place seemed to have been stricken with a kind of creeping paralysis, out of beat with the rest of the world, crumbling apart in slow motion. When I woke up the next morning, all my belongings were there. Suitcases, books, even my typewriter. I threw on some clothes and ran over to the house.
Of course your things are here. I brought them myself.
Is that so? Who said you could? Who asked you to?
I did. It seemed like a good idea if we were to work together.
Well, there's nothing in the deal about me staying here.
You'll like it here. Besides, you can work in an apartment. If you owe 3 months' rent, you can't work there.
I'll take care of that.
It's all taken care of. Max, unpack Mr. Gillis's things.
It has been done, madame.
Well, pack them up again. I didn't say I was staying.
And suppose you make up your mind. Do you want this job or do you not?
Yes, I wanted the job. I wanted the dough. But it wasn't so simple getting some coherence into those wild hallucinations she called a script. And what made it even tougher was that she hovered around all the time. Hovering about me. Afraid I'd do some injury to that precious brainchild of hers.
What are those papers crumpled on the floor?
Oh, just a scene I threw out.
What scene?
Well, the one where you go to the slave market. It's better to go directly to John the Baptist.
And cut away from me?
Honestly, they don't want that anymore.
Don't they? Then why do they write me fan letters every day? Why do they beg me for their photograph? Why? Because they want to see me. Me, Norma Desmond.
Okay.
Put those pages back there where they belong.
I put them back. You don't yell at a sleepwalker. He may fall and break his neck. That was it. She was still sleepwalking along the giddy heights of a lost career. plain crazy when it came to that one subject, her celluloid self, the great Norma Desmond. It wasn't all work, of course. Sometimes there'd be little bridge games at the house, friends of hers, actors, dim figures you might still remember from silent pictures. I used to think of them as her waxworks, fragile and old. They'd come and they'd go, quietly like ghosts. They never spoke to me. I don't believe they even asked her who I was. On other nights, Max would operate a motion picture machine. We'd see a movie right in her living room. A silent movie. I guess I don't have to tell you who the star was. They were always her pictures. That's all she wanted to see.
Still wonderful, isn't it? And no dialogue. We didn't need dialogue. We had faces. Oh, those idiot producers. Those imbeciles. Haven't they got eyes? Have they forgotten what a star looks like? I'll show them. I'll be up there again, so help me.
One morning, Max came in with bad news for me. The men from the finance company had paid a visit and found my car and towed it away.
Oh, don't be ridiculous, Joe. They took your car. It's not a matter of life or death.
Well, it is to me. That's why I took this job.
Now you're being silly. We don't need two cars. We have a car. Not one of those cheap new things made of chromium and spit. We have an Isotta Franchetti. Have you ever heard of an Isotta Franchetti? All handmade. Cost me $28,000.
Well, Max got that old bus down off its blocks and polished it up. The whole thing was upholstered in leopard skin and had one of those car phones, all gold-plated. That afternoon, Norm insisted that we take it for a drive. Begrudgingly, I went along. Max appeared in a chauffeur's uniform and cap. I waited in the car for Norma to come out. The whole time, Max kept staring straight ahead, his eyes fixed on nothing. Norma finally appeared, dressed to the nines. It made me wonder when was the last time she'd been out in the world beyond that driveway. Max drove us around, and Norma pointed out the sights. It was a warm day, but my attention was elsewhere.
Isn't it a gorgeous day for a drive?
Yeah, sure.
That's a dreadful shirt you're wearing, Joe.
Yeah? What's wrong with it?
Nothing, if you work in a filling station. And I'm getting rather bored with that same old jacket and those baggy pants. Max!
Yes, madame.
Take us to a good men's shop in town. The very best. Take us there now.
But I don't need any clothes, and I certainly don't want you buying them for me.
Why begrudge me a little fun? I just want you to look nice and must you chew gum?
The last week in December, the rains came. It came right through the old roof of my room and over the garage. So she had Max come move me into the main house. I didn't much like the idea, but it was better than sleeping in a raincoat and galoshes.
You should be quite comfortable here, Mr. Gillis.
Uh-huh. Whose room was this?
It was the room of the husband, or of the husbands, I should say. Madame has been married 3 times.
Oh. Hey, what's with this door? There isn't any lock.
There are no locks anywhere in the house, sir.
How come?
Madame has moments of melancholy. There have been some attempts at suicide.
No.
We have to be very careful. No sleeping pills, no razor blades. We turned off the gas in Madame's bedroom.
Why? I mean, her career? She got enough out of it. Well, she's not forgotten. She still gets those fan letters.
Those letters, I would not look too closely at the postmarks.
You send them. Is that it, Max?
I'd better press your evening's clothes, sir. Mr. Gillis has not forgotten Madame's New Year's Eve party.
Oh, no, I hadn't forgotten about the party. I dreaded it, but I was curious as to who would be there. I heard voices. Max ushering in the orchestra. A little later on, music started to play. I went downstairs. This was the night I was to find out how she felt about me. I'd been an idiot not to have sensed it coming. That sad, embarrassing revelation. She was dancing alone, a tango. And then she saw me and came over to the foot of the stairs. If there had been any hope of ducking that New Year's Eve party, believe me, I wouldn't have been there. As it was, I put on that dinner jacket from the best shop in town and went downstairs.
Oh, Joe, you look absolutely divine. How turned.
Oh, please.
Oh, come on. Perfect, wonderful shoulders, and I love that line.
Oh, it's all padding. Don't let it fool you.
Oh, cute. You know, this floor used to be wood, but I had it changed. Valentino said there's nothing like tile for a tango. You tango, don't you?
Not on the same floor with Valentino. Norma, it's late. What time are they supposed to get here?
Who?
The other guests.
Oh, there are no other guests. This is for you and me, Joe.
Oh,
Hold me tighter.
okay.
You think this is all very funny?
Little.
Be patient, Joe. You'll think it's nice, not funny. You'll think it's very nice.
So we danced, Norma Desmond and I, in a room big enough for a softball game, to the music of a 20-piece orchestra.
What a wonderful year it's going to be, Joe. What fun we'll have. I'll fill my pool for you, or I'll open my house in Malibu and you can have the whole ocean. And when our picture's finished, I'll buy you a boat and we'll sail all the way to Honolulu.
Oh, stop it. You're not going to buy me anything anymore.
Oh, don't be silly. I'm rich, Joe. I'm richer than all these new Hollywood trash. I've got $1 million.
Keep it.
I own 3 blocks downtown. I've got oil in Bakersfield pumping and pumping and pumping. And what's it for? But to buy us anything we want.
Cut out this us business.
What's the matter with you?
Has it ever occurred to you that I may have a life of my own? I mean, that there may be some girl that I'm crazy about?
Who? Some car hop? Some dress extra from Central Casting?
What I'm trying to say is that I'm all wrong for you. You want a Valentino, somebody with polo ponies, a big shot.
What you're trying to say is that you don't want me to love you. Is that it? Well, say it. Say it. Say it.
She left the room and rushed upstairs, and the orchestra kept playing. Well, I'd had enough. I grabbed my coat and left. I thought about a friend of mine, Artie Green, an assistant director. There was bound to be a New Year's gig going on in his apartment. I walked down to the boulevard and hitched a ride into town.
Well, what do you know? Joe Gillis.
Hi, Artie.
Where have you been? I dropped by your place a couple weeks ago, and the landlord said.
Well, I moved out to a deep freeze.
Oh.
Look, I'll give you a full report later. In the meantime, could I stick around here for a while?
Oh, this will go on all night.
No, I mean, could you put me up for a week or so?
Sure, Joe, sure. Stand by, kid. I'll go get you a drink.
Hello, Mr. Gillis.
Oh, hello.
Betty Schaefer, remember? Sheldrake's office.
Oh, yes.
I've been hoping to run into you, Mr. Gillis.
What for? To recover the knife you stuck in my back?
Well, I did feel a little guilty, so I got out some of your old stories.
Why, you sweet kid.
Please, I would like to talk to you. Come on, let's go into the kitchen.
I didn't pay much attention to what Betty was trying to tell me. Too much noise, too many people having a good time. But suddenly I knew I was feeling good again, and that she was part of that feeling. I told her to wait for me. I'd be right back. I had to make a phone call.
Hello?
Max, it's Joe. Listen, I need you to do something for me.
I am sorry, Mr. Gillis, but I cannot talk to you now.
Yes, you can. Now look, Max, I want you to get out my old suitcase and pack all my old stuff.
I have no time to do anything now. The doctor is here.
What's going on?
Madame got the razor from your room, and she cut her wrists.
Max! Max! Hello, Max!
Hey, Joe, where you going? What'd you do to him, honey? Scare him or something?
Who was he talking to, Artie? Why would he leave like that?
I don't know. How do you like that guy?
Take my hand and let me take your heart. Keep it far from what keeps us apart. Let us start with the light in the dark.
Thank you for coming back, Mr. Gillis.
She.
The doctor said she will be all right. Be careful, Mr. Gillis. Be careful what you say to her.
Norma?
Go away. Don't look at me. Go away and leave me alone.
What kind of a silly thing was that to do?
To fall in love with you. That was the idiotic thing.
Sure would have made some attractive headlines. Great star kills herself for unknown writer.
Great stars have great pride. Go away. Go back to that girl of yours.
Look, I was making that up because I thought the whole thing was a mistake. I didn't want to hurt you. You have been good to me, Norma. The only person in this stinking town who's been good to me.
Why don't you just say thank you and get out?
Not until you promise to start acting like a sensible human being.
Oh, I'll do it again. I'll do it again. I'll do it again.
Norma. Happy New Year, Norma.
Oh, Joe. Joe. Happy New Year, darling.
By the following day, if it hadn't been for her bandaged wrist, no one would have dreamed that here was a woman who had tried to kill herself.
Immediately, get the script over to Paramount and be sure to deliver it to Mr. DeMille in person.
Very good, madame.
Are you really going to send it to DeMille?
Well, this is the day. This is the day, Joe. Look, here is the chart from my astrologer. She's read DeMille's horoscope. She's read mine.
Did she read the script? Norma, scripts don't sell in astrologers' charts.
But, darling, I'm not just selling the script. I'm selling me. DeMille always said I was his greatest star.
When did he say it, Norma?
Well, all right, it was quite a few years ago. But the point is, I never looked better in my life. And do you know why? Because I've never been as happy in my life. Now hurry, Max, hurry!
It's for you, madame. The telephone. Paramount is waiting.
Now do you believe me, Joe? Paramount is calling. I told you DeMille would jump at my story.
It is not Mr. DeMille in person, madame. Someone by the name of Gordon Cole. He says it is very important.
Well, certainly it's important. The very idea of having some assistant call me. Say that I'm busy and hang up.
Very good, madame.
Now, how do you like that? We've made 12 pictures together, his greatest successes.
Maybe he's busy. Maybe he's shooting.
Well, I know that trick. He's trying to belittle me. He's trying to get my price down. Well, I've waited 20 years for this call, and Mr. DeMille now can wait until I'm good and ready.
About 3 days later, she was good and ready. Incredible as it may seem, there had been more of those urgent calls from Paramount. Each time they would insistently ask for Norma, and each time she would insistently tell Max to hang up. The idea of DeMille not calling her personally haunted her, almost to the point of obsession. Finally, after a few days, she decided she was to take matters into her own hands. She put on half a pound of makeup, fixed it up with her veil, put on an outfit that hadn't seen the light of day in years, and set forth to see DeMille in person.
Joe, are you sure you don't want to see DeMille with me, dear?
No, I'll wait outside, Norma. It's your script. It's your show. Good luck.
Oh, thank you, darling. Max, what are you waiting for?
The gate, madame.
All that noise, will you, please?
To see Mr. DeMille. Open the gate.
Mr. DeMille is shooting. You got an appointment?
No appointment necessary. I am bringing Norma Desmond.
Norma who?
Norma Desmond.
Jonesy? It is you, Jonesy!
Why, Miss Desmond. Oh, how have you been, Miss Desmond?
Oh, just tell that officer to open the gate.
Sure, Miss Desmond. Okay, Mac, open it up.
That can't drive onto the lot without a pass.
Miss Desmond can. Open it up.
Where is Mr. DeMille shooting, Jonesy?
Stage 18, Miss Desmond.
Thank you, Jonesy. And teach your friend some manners. Tell him without me, you wouldn't have any job, because without me, there wouldn't be any Paramount studio. Smack stage 18.
It wasn't possible. How could a man of DeMille's intelligence see even a glimmer of hope in a script as bad as the one she'd sent him? But he came out of the soundstage and put his arms around her, and then let her into his studio.
You saw them, Mr. Gillis. The experts, the electricians, they fall all over each other just to get a look at her. You see that row of offices? That used to be Madame's dressing room. That whole row.
That didn't leave much room for Wallace Reed. Oh, that sign over there, Max, reader's department. It reminds me. I want to look up somebody. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Well, for heaven's sake, come on in, have a chair.
Hello, Betty. I just thought I'd tell you, if you still think there's anything in that story of mine, go ahead and take it. It's all yours.
Why?
Well, it's no good to me, and help yourself. I mean it.
That doesn't make any sense. Besides, I'm just not good enough to do it all by myself.
Well, what about all those ideas you had?
You don't even know what they are. Maybe they aren't any good. Look, Joe, please. If you're busy, maybe we could work evenings or even 6 o'clock in the morning.
Artie would just love that.
Well, for the next month, Artie won't mind at all. He's out of town. Incidentally, we're engaged.
Oh. Huh. Well, good for you. You couldn't find a nicer guy.
That's what I think. Anyway, he's on location in Arizona, so I'm free every evening, every weekend.
Look, Betty, it can't be done. It's out. Stop being chicken-hearted and write that story. And don't make it too dreary. Get a few laughs in. So long, Betty. Good luck.
Oh, honest to goodness, I hate you.
Walked back to the car. I saw someone talking to Max. He was just leaving. Then Max turned to me and looked at me helplessly. What's the matter?
That man, one of DeMille's assistants.
Well?
The reason for all those telephone calls. It is not DeMille. It was the prop department who called.
Prop department?
The car. They saw the car when I brought the script here. They want to rent the car for a Bing Crosby picture.
And DeMille's going to tell her then?
He won't want to tell her. He remembers her. He will not break her heart.
Take it easy. She's coming.
See? Look at her. Look at her. She's radiant.
Well, how'd it go?
Oh, it couldn't have gone better. It's practically set. Of course, he has to finish this picture first, and it's, well, a circus picture, but I'm next. I'm sure I am next. He said nothing would please him more than to work with me.
Norma.
Oh, it's nothing. I just didn't realize what it would be like to come back to the old studio. Well, what are you waiting for, Max?
Forgive me, madame.
After that, an army of beauty experts invaded the house. She went through a merciless series of treatments, like an athlete training for the Olympic Games. She went to bed every night at 9. She counted every calorie. She was absolutely determined to be ready. Ready for those cameras that would never turn.
Joe! Are you there?
Yes, Norma.
Don't turn around. Keep your eyes on the book. I just came down to say goodnight. I don't want you to see me. I'm not very attractive at the moment.
Right?
You know, I've dropped 1.5 pounds since Tuesday.
Good.
Are you going to read all night?
Oh, for a while.
You went out last night, didn't you, Joe?
I went for a walk.
No, you didn't. You took the car. It's all right. It's just that I don't want to be left alone. Not while I'm under this terrible strain. All I ask is that you be a little patient and a little kind.
Norma, I haven't done anything that you wouldn't approve of.
Of course you haven't. I wouldn't let you. Good night, darling.
Yes, she was right. I was playing hooky every night. That story of mine that Betty Schaefer had dug up kept going through my head like a locomotive. I'd phoned her, and we'd started working on it. Just the two of us, in her office. Nights when the studio was deserted. And sometimes we got stuck and we'd walk around the lot. Just wandering down alleys between sound stages or through sets they were getting ready for the next day's shooting. It was on one of those walks that Betty first told me about her nose.
So naturally, my family expected me to become a great star. Anyway, the studio sent me to test, but they didn't like my nose. It slanted a little.
Ah, they're crazy.
Oh, no, they're not. So I went to the doctor and had it fixed. Then they gave me another test. This time they were crazy about my nose, but they didn't like my acting.
That's the saddest thing I ever heard.
Oh, not at all. It really taught me a little sense. So I got a job in the mailroom, worked stenographic, and now I'm a reader.
3 cheers for Betty Schaefer. I will now kiss her nose.
If you please.
May I say, you smell real special.
It must be my new shampoo.
No, that's not shampoo. Yeah, it's more like fresh laundered linen handkerchiefs. And may I suggest that if we're ever to finish our story, you stay at least 2 feet away from me at all times. Now let's walk back to your office. It was long past midnight when I got back to the house. Max was waiting for me in the patio.
Mr. Gillis, you must be very careful. Madame may be watching. Mr. Gillis, I'm not inquiring where you go every night.
Why don't you? I'm writing a script, and I'm going to finish it.
It's just that I am greatly worried about Madame.
Well, you're not helping her any, feeding her lies and more lies. What happens when she finds out there isn't going to be any picture?
She will never find out. That's my job. It's been my job for a long time. I made Norma Desmond a star, and I cannot let her be destroyed.
You made her a star?
I discovered her. I directed all her early films.
And she's turned you into a servant.
It was I who asked to come back, humiliating as that may seem. You see, I was her first husband.
The following night, as usual, I was in Betty's office. Betty was strangely quiet. It wasn't like her. Something had happened.
Sorry, Joe, I don't want to talk about it.
Is it about me? What have you heard?
No, it's Artie. He sent me a telegram.
Oh? Anything wrong?
He says he wants me to come with him to Arizona, Joe. He says it costs $2 to get married there.
Why don't you? Stop crying, will you? You're getting married. That's what you wanted.
I don't want it now.
Why not? Don't you love Artie?
Of course I love him. I always will. I'm not in love with him anymore, that's all.
What happened?
You did. Oh, Joe. Joe.
She'd been a fool not to sense there was something phony in my setup, and I'd been a heel not to have told her. But you just can't say those things to somebody you're crazy about. Maybe I'd never have to. Maybe I could get away from her, get away from Norma. Maybe I could wipe the whole nasty mess right out of my life. As soon as I got back to that peculiar prison of mine, I went to Norma's room. The door was closed, but I could hear her talking on the telephone.
It's me for calling so late, Miss Schaefer, but I really feel it is my duty. But never mind who I am. Do you know Mr. Gillis? Exactly how much do you know about him? Do you know where he lives? Do you know how he lives? Do you know who he lives with? Miss Schaefer, I am trying to spare you a great deal of misery. Very well. Then ask him. Ask him.
Give me the phone.
No, Joe.
Give it to me. That's right, Betty. Ask me. Or better yet, why don't you come out and see for yourself? The address is 10,086 Sunset Boulevard.
Oh, don't hate me, Joe. Don't hate me. I found your script in the room. Your name was on it. Your name and hers. I called her up because I needed you. I needed you as I never have needed you before. Oh, look at me. Look at my hands. Look at my face. Look under my eyes. How can I go back to work if I am wasting away under this torment? Oh, you don't know what I've been through these last weeks. Then I bought myself a revolver. I did. I stood in front of the mirror, but I couldn't make myself do it. Oh, don't just stand there and hate me, shout at me, strike me, but don't hate me. Oh, don't do, Joe. What are you going to do? Please, Joe, please.
What was I going to do? Over and over, she kept repeating those words, sobbing, hysterical. I left the room and went out of doors. I kept walking around, and then I saw some headlights and a car turned into the driveway. Betty had come.
Joe, what is it? What's wrong? I didn't know what to do, so I jumped in the car.
Come on in. Come on in the house, Betty.
I don't know why I'm scared, Joe. Is it something awful?
Take a look around, Betty. Ever been in one of these old Hollywood palazzos? I built them like this when they were making $18,000 a week. No taxes.
You live here, Joe?
Oh, you bet.
Whose house is it?
Whose? Well, there are 100 photographs of her in that one room. If you don't remember the face, you must have heard the name. Norma Desmond.
Why did she call me?
You ever seen so much junk? She had the ceiling brought all the way over here from Portugal. And look at this.
No, why? What about Norma Desmond?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. This is an enormous place. It's lonely here, and so she got herself a companion. A very simple setup. An older woman who's well-to-do. The younger man who's not doing too well, could figure it out, can't you?
No.
All right. I'll give you a few more clues.
No, I haven't heard any of this. She never called me, and I've never been to this house. Now get your things together, and let's get out of here.
All my things? My 18 suits? My custom-made shoes? The 6 dozen shirts? The cufflinks? And the platinum keychains and cigarette cases?
Come on, Joe.
Come on, where? Back to a one-room apartment that I can't pay the rent for? Back to a story that may sell and possibly may not?
If you love me, Joe.
Look, sweetie, be practical. I like it here. Maybe it's not very admirable. Well, you and Archie, you can be admirable.
I can't even look at you anymore, Joe.
How about looking for the exit then? This way. Good luck to you, Betty. You can finish that script on the way to Arizona. And when you and Artie get back, the two of you ever feel like taking a swim, there's a pool out there. Italian marble and soft-colored lights.
Thank you, Joe. Darling, thank you.
Get out of my way. I'm leaving, Norma.
No, Joe, don't leave. You can't leave me. You can't.
I said I'm leaving.
No, you're not.
Thanks for letting me wear the handsome wardrobe. And thanks for use of all the trinkets. The jewelry's all in the top drawer.
Oh, it's yours, Joe. I gave it to you.
And I take it in a second. Only it's a little too dressy for Dayton, Ohio.
Oh, what I gave you is nothing. You can have anything you want. What is it you want, money?
Be throwing it away, Norma. I don't qualify for the job. Not anymore.
You can't go. Max! Max! I can't face life without you. And you know I'm afraid to die.
That's between you and yourself.
You think I made all that up about the gun, don't you? All right. See, I do have a gun. I suppose you don't think I have the courage.
Oh, sure. Sure. If it would make a good scene.
Oh, you don't care, do you? But hundreds of thousands of people will care.
Oh, wake up, Norma. You'd be killing yourself to an empty house. The audience left 20 years ago. Now face it.
That's a lie. They still want me.
No, they don't.
What about the studio? What about DeMille?
He couldn't hurt you. He couldn't hurt anyone. DeMille's been trying to spare your feelings. The studio wanted to rent your car.
They wanted what?
DeMille didn't have the heart to tell you. None of us had the heart to tell you. Come on in, Max. Go on. Tell her.
It's a lie! They wanted me! I get letters every day!
Do her that favor, Max. Tell her there isn't going to be any picture. There aren't any fan letters. Except the ones you write.
That's not true. Max, tell me that isn't true.
Madame is the greatest star of them all. I'll take Mr. Gillis's bags to the car.
You heard him. I'm a star.
Norma, you're a woman of 50. Now grow up. There's nothing tragic about being 50. Not unless you're trying to be 25.
Oh, now I am the greatest star of them all.
Bye, Norma.
No one ever leaves a star. That's what makes one a star.
I left her standing there. I grabbed my coat and started out. She kept calling me.
Joe! Joe! Joe!
I could hear her running after me.
Joe! Joe!
I was out of the house now. The air suddenly felt fresh again, clean. I started to cross the patio, and she called to me once again.
Joe!
But I didn't stop. I kept on going. Suddenly, it was a great effort to keep on walking. I was alongside the pool now, and if I could only... Well, this is just about where you came in. Back at that pool again, the one I always wanted. Only now the place is crawling with people. The police, detectives, reporters, photographers. They took pictures of me in the pool. Then they took pictures of me out of the pool. They were very careful with me, gently. It's funny how gentle people get with you once you're dead. Well, the newsreel guys are roaring in now. Here's an item everybody can have some fun with. The heartless so-and-sos. What would they do to Norma? Even if she gets away with it in court, crime of passion, temporary insanity, the headlines are going to kill her. Forgotten star, a slayer, aging actress, yesterday's glamour queen. They're talking to her now up in the house. The boys from homicide. They found her upstairs sitting at her dressing table, arranging her hair.
She won't talk, Captain. State of shock, I guess.
Miss Desmond, please. You don't deny having killed that man. Just answer us yes or no. Did you intend to kill him? Who is he? Where did you first meet him? Where does he come from?
The newsreel men are here with the cameras, Captain.
Tell them they can go fly a kite. This is no time for cameras. Miss Desmond, is there anything at all you want to tell us?
Cameras. They said cameras. What is it, Max?
The cameras have arrived, Madame.
They have. Tell Mr. DeMille, I will be on the set at once.
What is this?
It's one way to get her downstairs, isn't it?
Okay. Have the car right outside.
Everything will be ready, Madame.
Thank you, Max. You'll pardon me, gentlemen, but I must get ready for my scene.
Max didn't even bother to look at them. It was the cameras he was interested in.
Quiet, everybody. Miss Desmond is coming. Lights. Turn up the lights. Are you ready, Norma?
What is the scene? Where am I?
This is the staircase of the palace.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Down below, they are waiting for the princess.
I'm ready.
All right. Cameras, action!
And so they were turning after all, those cameras. Life, which can be strangely merciful, had taken pity on Norma Desmond. She came down the stairs. They were not policemen, they were not photographers or reporters or just the morbidly curious. To Norma, they were her public, her fans, and she was back again, working with DeMille.
I can't go on with the scene. I'm too happy. Mr. DeMille, do you mind if I say a few words? Thank you. I just want to tell you all how happy I am to be back in the studio making a picture again. You don't know how much I've missed all of you. And I promise you, I will never desert you again. Because after Salome, we'll make another picture and another picture. And you'll see, this is my life. It always will be. There's nothing else, just us and the cameras and those wonderful people out there in the dark. All right, Mr. DeMille. I'm ready for my close-up.